I hope it was a guy. I looked it up. All right, fine. Oh! It was different yesterday without you. Yeah.
Different today also.
I just need a stick of water out. The sugya Rabbi Sai is a fascinating sugya. Okay. Yesterday we had in the Mishnah, we had a quick review. For those of you who were spacing out yesterday, we had in the Mishnah.
Why'd you look at me?
We had in the Mishnah that if you shecht meat and the blood of the meat touches the meat, the blood touches the meat, and your hands are always considered sheni l'tuma. They have the properties of a sheni. So if your hands touch the meat turns into a shlishi. It always goes down one step. So sheni becomes a shlishi. On that, the Gemara asked, how in the world can a sheni, obviously the Mishnah is talking about Chullin. The Gemara brought 4 unbelievable rayas that it's talking about Chullin. There's absolutely no way to undo those rayas, the pure rayas. And so our Mishnah is talking about Chullin. Chullin, sheni cannot ever become shlishi, l'chayra. So that we had 3 pshatim yesterday. We're going to have another 2 pshatim today. What were the pshatim that we had yesterday? Oh, the Mishnah is talking about this guy's doing chazar, geshmak. The Mishnah is talking about meiser sheni. So meiser sheni is susceptible to a sheni to become a shlishi. Another pshat we had was that the person stuck his hands into Beis HaMenuga. He only stuck his hands in, not his rest of his body. So his hands became strong enough to make the rishon, to make the meat a sheni. Typically, hands are a sheni, but over here we had a special situation. Since he stuck his hands into Beis HaMenuga, they became a rishon. Then we had another pshat that it goes according to Rabbi Akiva that says that a sheni could make a shlishi, not a problem. That the Gemara was doicha. So now we're coming up on 2 new pshatim. One we're going to stick with, one we're going to get away with, really. Do away with. We're holding 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom. Omar Rebbe Lazar, Omar Rebbe Hoshaya. Hacha bechulin shenasu al taharas hakodesh askinon. Oh, not too many charts today, but in order to understand the sugya, this taharas hakodesh and this taharas truma. What's going on here? The guy, he has chulin in his house, but he's a big tzaddik. Not a big tzaddik. He's a kohen. He eats a lot of korbanos. So in order for him to be used to making everything sure, to make sure that everything is on the highest level of tahara, so even his regular steaks, he treats them as if they're kodesh. He treats everything in his house, everything he has, as kodesh, the highest level.
Everything or just meat?
Oh, so that we're going to see in a second. L'chayra everything. I mean, especially meat, because that's. You're saying, what about fruit? Does he treat that as trum on the lower level?
He would also need his whole family to be.
I don't know what he does with his family, but the point is, he himself.
His wife cooks the steaks.
Yeah, okay, fine.
He has to cook the steaks.
Now, if he accepts upon himself, he says to himself.
He's got a grill.
Maybe he's going to divorce his wife.
So what happens? This guy says to himself. We're talking about chulin. We're talking about chulin here. Chulin, regular food, regular steaks. He says to himself, I accept it by myself. He says it one time, I accept it by myself. Everything that comes through my house, everything that I touch, everything I do, I'm going to treat it with the most respect possible for Tumah. That's called Al Taras HaKodesh. Meaning, if he goes and he mitama something, he's over Isser, even chulin. A regular person that takes a steak and makes it tameh, it's not a problem. But since he accepted upon himself, now this guy is in a whole new different category. He has to be careful, and he really has to be careful to the point where he's over Isser if he's not careful. Why? Because he accepted upon himself. Then you have another guy.
He's either on the basis of a neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a neder, Beth. Yes, of course it's the Rabbanon. But it's like a neder. Everything I touch is going to be kodesh. What? Just so you understand this a little bit. Kodesh means that it's susceptible to a revi, to number 4. That's a very high madrega, right? Like yesterday we said, there's a sheni. Chullin goes up to sheni, stops. Truma goes up to shlishi, stops. Kodesh goes up to revi. So he makes everything. He's so makbid that even a shlishi, he won't let a shlishi touch any of his food, because if a shlishi touches his food, it becomes a revi. So he's very makbid on 4. Where do you eat kodesh? Only inside Yerushalayim, in the walls of Yerushalayim. I was going to I had the flag of Yerushalayim, it says 2 or whatever. And it's meat, basar, right? Basar. That's what he's makbid on. On basar, all the better. Why? Because kachim. So to answer your question, really, it's only basar. Yeah?
He's not makbid on other foods.
What? He's not makbid on other foods. Now this guy over here, he's makbid, not so makbid. He's not such a brisker. He's more of a yeshivish guy. He's a taras truma. He does one level less. Meaning, his fruit. What's truma? What do you take truma on? On fruit. On peiros. This is all for entertainment. This is not exact. So don't ask me questions on the pineapple and this. Fine. Where do you eat truma? In Eretz Yisrael. Also, again, I don't know if Elad is part of it. It's not.
It's in the bottom.
Oh yeah, I did over here. Okay, fine. And truma is less of a. It's not as chamor. It's only 3. A shlishi is a problem. Don't let truma touch a sheni because it becomes a shlishi. Once it's a shlishi, it's not fine. So now that we have these 2 things.
Let me ask you, on the revi, for instance.
Yeah.
For it to be metamet, something had to be a shlishi beforehand.
Even a shlishi.
Could that be anything that, although it's not counted as a shlishi anymore, normally, but...
Meaning like what?
Like regular food, regular fruit.
That is what? It's not a shlishi?
No.
What is it?
Well, it is a shlishi technically, or rather physically, but it's not a shlishi. How does this become a revi? Only if somebody touches it that was a shlishi properly.
If a person is a shlishi, or a fruit shlishi, touches it. What's the? I don't understand. No, even fruit.
Okay.
No.
And
Any shlishi that touches it.
the fruit shlishi is only if it's truma.
Right. So if truma shlishi touches kodesh.
But otherwise it doesn't become a revi.
No.
Has to be wet too, right?
Yeah, obviously, any fruit has to be wet. Fine. Says the Gemara. What?
Has to be muksher, not wet.
Yeah. Muksher l'kabel tumah. Different, right? Not wet at the time. Has a muksher through liquid, and like we saw yesterday, through shchita maybe, through being kachim, it becomes muksher. Anything that makes it kachim. Our Mishnah is talking about he's the type of person that's very makbid. He took upon himself the chumrah of kodesh on all his meat. So therefore, even hands that are sheni, his sheni hands that typically don't make anything tameh, will make his food tameh because he took upon himself the stringencies of kodesh. Udeloi ki Rabbi Yeshua. But this doesn't go according to Rabbi Yeshua. Why? Rabbi Yeshua holds that a person that took upon himself this kind of chumrah, we don't give him any chumras. He could accept it upon himself, that's fine. But us Rabbanon are not going to give any types of chumras for him. Rabbanon have to be very makbid on people that are makabel themselves this, taras truma. Why? There's many of them. There's thousands of them. So there's so many people, Rabbanon came up with new chumras for them to make sure that everybody sticks to it. But the few guys that are makbid on taras HaKodesh, Rabbanon didn't get involved with them. He said, Batul Dait is a kaladam. These guys are far and few in between, and Memela, we don't care about them. Chacham didn't impose any restrictions.
They're automatically going to be makbid on truma.
They'll take care of themselves.
Because they're higher
They're a very high level. They'll take care of themselves. Us Rabbanon don't have to impose any special restrictions for them. That's what Rabbi Yeshua is saying here at this point. And Memela, the Sanya. So I don't have to say that their hands make their food tamei. A person who eats food that's tamei at a level of a rishoin, in other words, food that touched avatuma, food that touched a sheretz, it's a rishoin. What does he become after putting it in his body? He becomes a rishoin. His whole body becomes what he ate. Sheni, sheni, shlishi. This is very simple to remember. Anything you eat, that's what you become. You eat a rishon, you become a rishon. You eat a sheni, shlishi. What? You are what you eat. Comes Rabbi Shua just to confuse us a little bit, and he says, not touch it, ingest it.
I said, but if you touch it, then you're one step down.
Right. Touching it, you're one step down. If Rabbi Shua Oimer, ha'oichel rishon v'sheni sheni. No. Basically, Rabbi Shua is saying you're always a sheni. How? If you eat a rishon and a sheni, you go down one step to a sheni. If you eat a sheni, you remain on that level of a sheni. And if you eat a shlishi, says Rabbi Shua, you go upwards to a sheni. That's all he says. You always stay at a sheni. And the Gemara is going to explain exactly how does this make sense. Where's the logic here? If you eat a rishon and a sheni, you become a sheni. Shlishi, but if you eat a shlishi, sheni lekodesh ve'ain sheni letruma, you go up a madrega. If you eat a shlishi, now you're not such a low madrega of shlishi. You become even stronger than what you ate. You become a sheni to the point that you could be metama food and make that food into a shlishi. Lekodesh ve'ain sheni letruma. That doesn't work by truma. It only works legabe kodesh. This, Rabbi Isai, this line right over here, we must remember that's today's sugya, right over here. That what? If you eat a shlishi, remember, if you eat a shlishi, you get worse than what you ate. You become more tummy than what you ate. You eat a shlishi, you become a sheni. Where? In kodesh. Vein sheni letruma. Then he says a statement like this: B'chulin shenasu al taras truma. So I printed it out here because we're going to be dealing with this a little bit today. What's important for us for today is the red and the blue. Shlishi becomes a sheni. That's what we just said. And then he says a statement. This is talking about in a case, blue. By the way, this is red and this is blue. It's color coordinated. And over here it's blue. It's a guy that's makbid on truma. If a guy is makbid on truma, then his shlishi becomes a sheni. What about a guy that's makbid on kodesh? You could go two ways. Either kolshkin ben benoy shel kavachomer, if he's makbid on such a little thing like truma, and he becomes a shlishi becomes a sheni. So if he's so makbid like on kodesh, then of course he should become a sheni. Or no, maybe what he's saying is dafka truma, and that's it. This kind of cheshbon, and this is one of the most interesting cheshbonis that the Gemara has in the last few months, that's what we're going to be dealing with. What's the statement? Is this statement right over here an explanation to the red, or it's an independent statement? By the way, Chullin that's done al taras truma. What does he say? B'chulin shenas al taras truma. A shlishi becomes a sheni, but maybe it has nothing to do with this red. But right now the Gemara is saying it does have to do with the red. The Gemara says, the Gemara is trying to say that our Mishnah, how do we start? Our Mishnah doesn't go according to Rabbi Yeshua. What is our Mishnah talking about? Kodesh. The Mishnah is talking about meat. Talking about meat. So, B'chulin shenas al taras truma, al taharas truma in, al taharas ha-kodesh loy. Dafka, Rabbi Yeshua is saying that a person that keeps himself away from making truma tamei, that's the type of person that makes a shlishi, it becomes upgraded to a sheni. But if a person who's makbid on kodesh, not to make kodesh tamei, no, a shlishi doesn't become a sheni. Kosavar chulin shenas al taras kodesh les bu shlishi. According to what the Gemara is saying now, and the Gemara is going to bring a shita that's muchuluk on this. That what? No, there's a big difference. Only the lesser one becomes more chomer. Only taharas truma a shlishi becomes a sheni, but taharas kodesh a shlishi does not become a sheni.
That's a hard svara to say.
He just explained it. We just explained it. We didn't deal with the kodesh. Chachamim never imposed restrictions. There's no gzeiros. All the gzeiros are over here. Why does a shlishi become a sheni? The Rabbanon. Rabbanon didn't deal with those tzaddikim, the G'dolei Hadar, that know how to take care of themselves and make special chumras. We don't need to give them gzeiros. But the Hamoinam, all the Kohanim in the world that want to accept upon themselves taharas truma, we have to start making special g'darim. If you touch it, it becomes like this. If shlishi becomes a sheni becomes whatever. Those are g'darim special for taharas truma. That's how he's learning.
already is a gzera. So why another gzera?
It's not a gzera. It's a neder. It's something he accepts upon himself. He doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to.
God, you wouldn't even do it on.
It's a chumrah. A guy that is machmer to wear tzitzis at night, you're not going to go make more chumras on him. Oh, but you wear tzitzis, you make sure it's tchelas. Right. You're not going to make chumras. On regular people, you make chumras.
Is that right?
Yisrael b'mekal? Yeah, why not? I don't see why not. So it's a neder. It's Kabbalah. It's Nazirus. It's like being a Nazir. I'm not drinking wine. All my food, all my steaks that I could eat and make them tamei if I want, I can't. I'm making special chumrah. Ask the Gemara a very simple question. V'lukma bechulin. Why? Now this is a shot number 5 because we just said our mission is talking about chulin shenasu al taharas hakodesh and memela's hands that are sheni make his meat tamei because he took upon himself a special chumrah. Ask the Gemara, why do you go all the way to a guy that's makbid on himself on taharas hakodesh? Go to a guy that's makbid on himself on taharas truma, and then it would go even in according to Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua, who just said, we said our mission can't go according to Rabbi Yeshua. Because Rabbi Yeshua only said his halacha that a person that with geyser on a person only by truma. If he's makbid on truma, but not in this case. So I have a case that goes according to everybody. Somebody's makbid on himself, taharas truma, and then he went with his dirty, filthy, tamei, sheni hands and he touched meat. You can't eat the meat. According to everybody. If he agreed upon taharas truma, and his hands should make his meat tamei. Says the Gemara, no. Why? That doesn't even start. The Ktani Basar, we're talking about meat in our Mishnah. Di betruma basar mi'ika, look at my picture over here. What's taharas truma? Fruit. It only applies to fruit. What do you give truma on? You give truma on fruit. You don't give truma on steak. So if a person who says to himself, he says, Hareini makabel alatzmi taharas truma. All his steaks could become tamei from today to tomorrow. All he meant in his mind is that my fruit and my vegetables shouldn't become tamei. That's a different meiser. That's not meiser of tuma. That's something else.
You don't give the chor?
You give that doesn't come tamei. That's nothing to do. No.
Go to Yerushalayim and buy.
You buy meat then.
It's about
You do it-
confusing the items.
Right.
Fruit doesn't, you're not going to get confused between fruit and meat.
No, he's asking that sometimes meat is like fruit.
Because you can sell you can buy meat in your shrine and that's food.
Yeah, it's different. It's not truma. It's a different thing. It could become tamei. Who says it can't become tamei? This is isser to make it tamei. It's isser midiraisa to make your truma tamei. Says the Gemara. So what are you telling me? Elamai bekachim. So memela, it can't be this. It can't be the person that's mekabel himself taharas kodesh. It has to be this. Wait a minute. That's also a problem. Why? Chaya b'kadoshim mi'ika. We're talking about in our Mishnah even venison, even a deer, even any kind of a giraffe, a wild giraffe from the jungle is also part of the Mishnah, and that chaya b'kadoshim mi'ika. Why would a person take upon himself to be careful with deer meat? Venison, right? They sell it in the fancy restaurants in America. He's only makbid on cows, because he could check the cow, on goats, and on sheep. Those are the 3 things that they bring to the Beis Hamikdash. But the Mishnah says, even a deer, even a chaya, you're not allowed to touch with your tamei hands. Why not? he never accepted upon himself chaya meat. The answer is, he did accept upon himself chaya meat. Why? Because in his freezer, they look identical. He can't tell the difference between beef and venison. They're both red. Masha'enkein, fruit and meat, they don't look the same. So Mela, he doesn't have to accept upon himself. A person could get confused. Mela accepts upon himself even venison to be makbid on all chaya meat. B'taras hakodesh. Fine. Omar Ula. My friend said exactly like we just said up until now. That what? Our Mishnah is talking about this case only, Taras HaKodesh. He accepted upon himself a special chumrah, and therefore his hands are sheni, are metame the meat. We said that doesn't go according to Rabbi Yeshua, because Rabbi Yeshua says that you only apply this in Taras Truma, not in Taras Kodesh. Sorry, but I'm a chuluk on them, and I'm saying Rabbi Yeshua it does go according to Rabbi Yeshua. It goes according to everybody. And Rabbi Yeshua, who said that it's talking about a person that's makbid on Truma, it's a kolchkein. Loy mebaya chulin shenas al taras kodesh. The chamir dis b'ushlishi. Ela afilu chulin shenas al taras truma nami is b'ushlishi. Why did Rabbi Yeshua bring a case of truma? To tell you tremendous chiddush. Even the lesser one, called truma, a shlishi becomes a sheni. Of course, something that's so chamor, I'm so makbid on, that's kodesh. This case, of course, a shlishi becomes a sheni. He wasn't saying only truma, he was saying even truma. That's how Ula learns Rabbi Yeshua. This statement over here, where is it? When Rabbi Yeshua says, Bechulin shenasu al taras truma, Kamzulin says, no, he's not saying only taras truma, he's saying even taras truma, because it makes a lot more sense logically. Like Mendy was asking, what do you mean? It's Taras Kodesh. He's so makbid, so we should give it the stringencies that if a shlishi touches food, it should become a sheni. If you do that stringency by truma, so certainly by Kodesh. Says Ulay, that's what he meant. Why did he say it like this? To tell us, even this case, I would never know. So he brought the shvachsta case of Taras Truma, meaning, but even Taras Truma, but of course, Taras Kodesh. Now the Gemara, this Gemara beat me up big time. The Gemara just wants to prove who's the author of this statement. Says the Gemara, it's Rabbi Bar Chana, and I'll prove it to you. Crazy logic. It's a very nice cheshbon. I'm going to try to dumb it down a shtickle, like make it as simple as possible to explain. It is pretty simple at the end of the day. I think I just got nervous from this giant Rashi and from everything else, but it's pretty simple. Let's see what the Gemara says. Man Chavirai, who's my Chaver that said that our Mishnah cannot go according to Rabbi Yeshua? Rabbi Yeshua only said a statement by Truma and not by Chullin. Who's this guy? Who's this Man Domar? Man Chaviraya? It has to be Rabbi Bar Chana. How do I know? Domar Rabbi Bar Chana Rabbi Yochanan. No, I was just talking to one of the Chevra here this year. He's here today. We were discussing if the Tanoim were geniuses, IQs, Achin. Then I learned this Gemara. It's like, it's unbelievable. They're cheshbon, and they don't even explain it. And you have to, without Rashi, it would be impossible, I think, to understand the sugya. But there's a lot of chachmir. Whoever wants could look it over afterwards on a deeper, better level. I'll go upon him. Let's see what the Gemara says. Rabbi Rechanoi, Domer Rabbi Rechanoi Rabbi Yochanan. Mayahadru Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Yeshua La'adodi. What was the back and forth between Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Yeshua in that Mishnah from Tahiris that we started off the day with? What was the svara each way? So Gemara is going to say three svaras, and svara, a kasha, and answer. Kasha, answer, but they're not, nothing to do with each other. Just to show what each one holds. Omer loy, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Lezer tells Rabbi Yeshua, Matzinu oichel chomer min oichel. We find that the person that eats food has more stringencies. We say that he is worse off than the food that he ate. Okay? So it makes sense that a person that eats a rishon should be a rishon. A person that eats a sheni should be a sheni, says Rabbi Elazar. I'll prove it to you. Why? If somebody touches a dead kosher bird, just touches the dead bird itself, he doesn't become tamei. But if he eats that bird, right? The famous halacha of eating a bird, putting it in your throat, that creates tumah. Your body becomes tummy, your clothes become tummy. What do you see? That eating is worse than the bird itself. Touching the bird, nothing happens. Eating the bird, it's worse. So Mamela, if I eat a rishon, I should become a rishon. If I eat a sheni, I should become a sheni. He says, let Rabbanan impose a gzeira, the worst that we find in the Torah. What's the worst that we find in the Torah? If somebody eats a bird, he becomes tummy. So if you eat a rishon, you should become a rishon. Says, why shouldn't we make somebody eats a rishon, and a sheni? Where Rabbi Yeshua says, no, if somebody eats a rishon, he becomes a sheni. No, I say somebody eats a rishon, he should become a rishon. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yeshua, menivla soiftar, loy gamrinon. What?
What's the meaning for that?
What do you mean?
Only if it's a mace that someone can.
Yeah, but I see the concept. I see the concept of tumah. I see concept of tumah that if I eat it, it's worse off than touching it. So let's apply that logic over here. It's very mace. Why not?
No,
it's animal.
Yeah.
It's only the
Oh, not a mace of a person. Mace of an animal. He's saying it's a mace of an animal.
you wouldn't make a rishon unless it was a mace.
No, but you say that you become tummy. You become tummy.
No, 100%.
You become tummy.
Fine, but
And if you touch it, you don't become tummy. So a rishon should become at least, if somebody eats the rishon, should be like the rishon. Tummy like the rishon. Says the Gemara. No, Rabbi Shua, you can't prove anything from that bird. It's a one-time halacha, the chidushu, and that's it. It's a special halacha beneged to birds, and that's it. Why? I can't believe it. You better go online to see the next few lines. This is chavaz. Says the Gemara. Hello. Now, Rabbi Shua, now it's Rabbi Shua's turn to tell Rabbi Elazar. Listen to me. The opposite. You find that food is more chomer than the person that eats it. Where? The ilu machol b'kabetza. Food only becomes tamei. Remember, we just had it in the chardal. We had a whole pot of chardal, and each piece doesn't become. They all become tamei. So Rashi proves because you need at least a kabetza to touch another kabetza. You can't have little pieces of chardal being metame each other, right? Food does not become tamei unless it's a kabetza size. It has to be a full egg in order to make another food. V'oichel, but the person eating doesn't become tamei ad ochel kechatzi pras until he eats 2 eggs. He has to eat double in order for him to become tamei. So you see, he's more kal. So why in the world would I make the food, the person eating, as strong in tumah as the food itself? Rabbi Elazar, and what does Rabbi Elazar answer to that? Tumah mishur legamrinon. There's no connection. In other words, I need to get to first base. It doesn't matter how I get there. Either I eat 2 kizaisim, I eat 1 kizais, but once I'm there, we're tummy, right? Tummy. Sometimes you eat a sheretz is b'kadasha, and this is b'kizais. But once you get there, they're both tummy. So Mamela, don't bring me a raya that one is more chomer than the other. It just takes more time to get there. Rashi explains, because it's a gzeira, you have to eat 2 kibetzim because it's a gzeira that maybe you'll put truma into your mouth while you're drinking a liquid, and you'll make it tamei. But when you get thirsty, you only get thirsty after you eat 2 eggfuls. So it's more of a svar, 2 eggfuls, but over there it's only 1, whatever the svar is. But once I get there, I'm still tamei. They're both tamei the same exact degree. V'oid, another raya says, all this is not negea to our big raya that's coming up. We're trying to figure out who said this. And we said it's Rabbi Bar Bachana. Rabbi Bar Bachana is bringing down this whole discussion, the whole back and forth. Since he brought down this whole discussion, he's responsible, so to speak. And Mamela, it's him. Let's see. You told me, according to you, that you go down 1 step. So you started off very good. I understand. If you ate a rishon, you go down 1 step, you become a sheni. Great. That I can understand. That's very good. But explain to me, sheni lama. But if you eat a sheni, you remain a sheni. You didn't go down a step. How does that make sense, Rabbi Yeshua? I don't understand. Oh my Lord. So he told him, no, that makes a lot of sense. Because sometimes, if you have a fruit, let's say you have an apple that's wet. You have an apple that's wet, and you touch your tameh, your rishon, you touch the wet fruit, the water becomes a rishon that makes the fruit a sheni. The mashke, if you touch the mashke, you just touch the water, then the water goes up a madrega, so to speak, becomes a rishon, which makes the fruit a sheni. So since I find such a thing, I find the concept that a sheni becomes a sheni through mashka. Again, a person with his hands are sheni. He touches this liquid on the outside of the pri. Boom. What happens to the liquid? It becomes more chomer, becomes a rishon. And therefore, that rishon liquid, which is sitting on the fruit, makes the fruit into a sheni. Because now the fruit is touching a liquid that's a rishon. But how did the liquid become a rishon? Through my sheni hands. So you see, says Rabbi Yeshua, that a sheni can create a sheni l'tumah. So Mamela, once I see that in fruit, I'm going to take it to everything. I'm going to say Rabbanan Gzer should be. I forgot which cup is whose now. So now a sheni becomes a sheni. So Mamela over here also a sheni. When a person is makbid on taras truma, a sheni becomes a sheni. Fine.
It will never become a shlishi, right?
Why not? A sheni can make a shlishi.
No, because we said in Gemara Lamed Gimel on the bottom.
Yeah.
It will never become a shlishi if it's Chullin.
You mean in truma? Ve'ein, what's the lashon over here? Ve'ein sheni. Shlishi becomes sheni lekodesh, ve'ein sheni letruma. B'chol shenaz adar zakor. Thank you. Psh, tzaddik. Very good. Very good. Yes, he's right. Wow. Sacher, kol kavod. All right. So, now, the Gemara doesn't say what Rabbi Lezer answered him. Rashi says the answer is, don't prove anything from water. Water is a special chumrah. Mashkin, sorry, not water. Mashkin is a special chumrah. Don't prove it. Fine. Now, we're almost there. Omer loy, v'ha mashkin namid chila havu. So, since liquid becomes a rishon, we just said, your hands are sheni that touches liquid, all of a sudden the liquid reverts backwards, becomes even more chomer than your hands, it turns into a rishon. So let the human being, let the person that's touching should also become a rishon. We said take the biggest chumras you can find in the Torah and Shas anywhere and apply them here. So here I have a case where the liquid on the cup, on the pri, becomes more chomer than the person that touched it. So Mela, let's take that chumrah and bring it over here and say the person that's makbid on taras truma, he should also become a rishon. This nan kol hapoisel b'truma mitame mashkin lios tchila. Anything that could make truma pasul could make mashkin a rishon. In other words, a sheni can make a rishon when it comes to liquids. Chutz mitful yom. A tful yom is somebody that went to the mikveh that day, is just waiting for the sun to go down. So his tumah is very, very weak. It's already in a very weakened state. So if he touches something, if he touches liquid, the liquid doesn't go back a madrega because he's a weak tumah to begin with. Okay. V'oid.
Why does the liquid have to touch the fruit? Even if the liquid is in a cup, if the hand touches the liquid.
You mean why is it at the time touching the fruit?
Yeah,
you're saying just stick your finger into a cup of water, and then if you spill it, it will come l'chayr, the same thing. Why not? I think it's I think what it means is.
But your hand.
I'll explain to you.
Your hand will never get out.
According to some Rishonim, and I think I might be like that also. Not if you rinse grapes in the sink, you have to wash al netilas yadayim, and you eat them, and unless you wipe it down, because of this issue. So we're not talking about a case that a guy sticks his finger into a cup of water and makes it. We're talking about a normal situation. A guy has fruit in his house and it's a little wet. By you touching the wetness, you created a rishon which makes the fruit tamei to sheni. So mainly you have to wash your hands on tisidayim to get rid of before you wash the grape, before you eat the grapes if your wife is washing them, so that your hands don't have the tum of sheni on it, and mainly you could either. But I think that's why it says it in that situation. The case is a normal case of water on fruit.
Why doesn't it become a ritual? Why don't you just say it's like when you touch the avocado, you get the same level? Why do you have to say the water makes your level?
I don't know why. That's the halacha. It's just the halacha Mishmah Sinai. When you touch liquid, it goes back to the highest level. It goes back to Rishon. That's the most it can become.
Goes up one, goes to the highest.
The highest is Rishon. It can't go to Avatuma.
Sheni goes
I
Rishon.
thought it was easy to make a little.
If there's no shlishi. That's matama. That's what he's saying. Only sheni can be matama by true. Fine. Yeah, we're mamish behind over here. Says the Gemara. Now, this is where it gets interesting. V'oid. All of a sudden, Rebbe Lezer asks Rebbe Shua, shlishi, sheni, lama. How in the world do you say that a shlishi becomes a sheni? How do you go backwards? You, Rebbe Shua, according to your logic, you go down a step. All of a sudden, when you get to shlishi, you're going up a step, backwards. Where's the logic? You, Rebbe Shua, said you go down. You from a rishon to a sheni. How do you go from a shlishi to a sheni? Now, that question right there is very interesting. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what the Gemara is saying now. If this statement in blue is a pshat on the red, in other words, what's going on here? The Rebbe Shua's statement was, a shlishi becomes a sheni. Why? Because he's explaining. Because we're talking about a situation where a guy is taras truma. And taras truma, we have to be very makbid, because a shlishi becomes a sheni. So he explained to him why a shlishi becomes a sheni. So then why in the world would Rebbe Lezer ask the question, why does a shlishi become a sheni? I don't understand how a shlishi becomes a sheni. That's exactly what he explained to him. B'chulin, Shanatzur, Truma, a shlishi becomes a sheni. He just explained it. In the Mishnah itself he explained it. Elomai, Yeheh Chaim, it's Moridik. This is not an explanation. This is an independent statement. Nothing to do with the red. If a guy is makbid on Taras HaKodesh, then a shlishi becomes a sheni. On that, Rebbe Lezer asked him, why? Why are you going backwards? Stay level, go down. Why go backwards? If it's an explanation, the Rebbe Lezer Kasha has no point there. Elamai, it's an independent statement. And if it's an independent statement, then he's saying, Dafka, this is the case where a shlishi becomes a sheni, and not when a person is makbid on Taras HaKodesh. Why would he say? He says a statement on Taras Truma. Only if it's an explanation, then it's even. Taras Truma and Taras Kodesh, everything, whatever, a shlishi becomes a sheni. But if this is an independent statement, blue has nothing to do with red, it's an independent statement. So Rabbi Shua is saying, the only time a shlishi becomes a sheni is in Taras Truma and not in Taras Kodesh, and therefore the Mishnah cannot go according to Rabbi Shua. Because our Mishnah is talking about Kodesh. And Rabbi Shua only says there's a halacha in Truma. That is the cheshbon aregel achas. Let's see inside. Yeah? Understood? Because you learned it yesterday. Let's see it inside. Let's see if that's what the Gemara says. That's not really the words of the Gemara. That's a lot of Rashi in there. Void shlishi sheni lama. Ask Rebbe Lezer, how could a shlishi become a sheni? Amar loy. Afani lo yamarti ela b'truma. Wait a minute. I only said my halacha by truma. Why? Shetaroso truma hi eitzel hakodesh. Very interesting. Rashi brings an unbelievable halacha. If a person is makbid on truma, we had it similar before a couple days ago. For example, if a person goes into a mikvah and he thinks to himself, I'm going to the mikvah for Chullin, he comes right out. He is tamei completely for truma and certainly for kodesh. Because he didn't think about Kodesh when he went into mikveh. He went into mikveh Chullin. Similarly, a person thinks to himself, I'm going to be very makbid that a zav and a nida shouldn't touch my stuff. They shouldn't step on it. Tumas medrus. His clothes are 100% tamei for someone that's makbid on Kodesh. He was very makbid. He made sure no nida touched his clothes. No. But he didn't have in mind Kodesh. He wasn't makbid enough. He didn't have the chumras of Kodesh in his mind. Says the Gemara, you see the words of the Gemara? Shitaharasa tuma hi eitzel hakodesh. Something that is tahar for truma is tamei for kodesh. Tamei. Forget about it. I was mamish makbid. No, it's tummy. Oh. So Mela, he's saying that by kodesh, a shlishi does not become sheni. And only by truma, a shlishi becomes sheni. So therefore, it comes out. So if I ask you a question, you hear the cheshbon? I ask you a question. Who said this statement that Rabbi Yeshua cannot go in our Mishnah? It has to be, it's Rabbi Chana. Because Rabbi Chana brought down the discussion between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua. And in the discussion, all the way in the bottom of the discussion, Rabbi Elazar asked Rabbi Yeshua, how could a shlishi become a sheni? Obviously, with that question, he understood that his statement over here was not an explanation on the ratio, because if that was a statement, he would never ask him those words, because he explains why shlishi becomes a sheni. Then obviously, this is a statement by itself, and on that he asked him, why does a shlishi become a sheni? And if this is a statement by itself, Rabbi Yeshua is saying, only in this case, by Taras Truma, does a person become a shlishi, become a sheni, but not by Taras HaKodesh. And our mission is talking about Taras HaKodesh, and Memele can't go according to Rabbi Yeshua, only according to Rabbi Eliezer. Wow. And now we have it. No, this is easy now.
Could you say all that again?
Ayin and YouTube. Ayin to YouTube. That's what YouTube is for. You see, so we just did a whole line without explaining anything. This is what we said before. A person that consumes a shlishi, what does he become himself? His body actually goes up a madrega, becomes worse. We just said this statement in Rabbi Yeshua. We learned in Rabbi Yeshua, shlishi, if a person eats or touches shlishi, sheni lekodesh becomes a sheni, vein sheni letruma. It says before sheni letruma. Bechulin shenasal taris truma, and it's an explanation. Over here, the Gemara is learning the explanation, not a statement by itself. Ataris truma in taris hakodesh loy. It says mefurish that this halacha doesn't apply to somebody that accepts it upon himself taris kodesh. No, not true. He didn't mean to say only truma, not kodesh. He meant to say even truma, but certainly kodesh. He doesn't fit into the words. He says. Those are the last words on Lam Gimel on Lam Dal and Lam Ela b'truma, only in truma. So the Gemara, you're right. He does say it. It's a question. Rabbi Yochanan had a question. What there's a machlokes Amaroy? What Rabbi Yochanan said? Did he say it's only truma or also truma? Amar Ula. A person who eats a shlishi, so now he cannot make anything else tamei physically by touching it because he's at the end of the line. However, if he eats it, the truma, it's asur for him to do that because he just made the truma pasul. Pasul, we said, is the end of the line. Asur, it becomes no good, but it can't give truma to anybody else. My kamashmal on tanina, shlishi, this exact statement, shlishi becomes a sheni lekodesh, vein sheni letruma, bechul and shenatz taris truma. That whole statement of Rabbi Yeshua, the Gemara's medayik, shenu dulehavi, hashlishi havi, does become a shlishi, and if he becomes a shlishi, in other words, if he eats it, it becomes tamei. Says the Gemara, we'll just finish the teretz. You can't make a diuk. What it meant to say is it's not a sheni, but don't be medayik. Oh, but a shlishi it is. Right? The reason why it said it in that lashon is that it mentions right before that kodesh and kodesh becomes a sheni. Or manami ain't sheni b'truma. What kodesh does become, truma does not become. But don't be medayik from that it becomes a shlishi. Komash malon. Komash malon. No, that you see from here that truma does not become. Here, turn that off for a second. Don't bring any rice. We want to make a deal that